Later this hour, a rare Michael Jordan trading card could be yours if you're willing to pay a pretty steep price. Why this collector's item already has potential buyers pacing and placing bids above the asking price.
Okay, so we'll dig into that. First, though, let's dig into this forecast. Tracy and Roz have weather and traffic this morning. Tracy, we'll get started with you. And I know we got rain, a couple things. I know we got rain and a little more to talk about later, but we're ending the 40s.
I know.
I've been loving this so much.
Yeah, it's been nice.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do. This morning we do have drizzle and fog around the area, around the lunch hour. I still think we're going to have some fog in here, and rain is going to start approaching as we get closer to the noon hour. Afternoon, evening rush, a little bit problematic with steady rain in the area. Right now, again, it is fog and it is drizzle that we have. I've been watching the visibilities. They have lowered, as you can see, Harvard, Gilbert's, down to 3/4 of a mile visibility around Pontiac. So just be real careful about these fog conditions that we have with us. Temperature steady mid to upper 30s right now. We'll go through that 7-day coming up. Roz, what are you helping us navigate through?
Well, we've got a structure fire in the south side, Englewood neighborhood. This is on Marquette, a couple of blocks east of Halstead, so we'll keep an eye on that. We're not hearing of any injuries at this point, but we'll keep you updated. On the expressway, slow but steady volume. We're looking at 40, 45 minutes tops. Travel times inbound between the tri-state and downtown on most of the expressways. The Ford and 57 are pretty snug. Merging into the Ryan, we had a couple of earlier stalls, and that just helped with that bottleneck, make it a little bit worse. But we can take a look at the north end of the Ryan from our White Sox camera. And actually, at 35th, it's moving. Well, then you go up to 31st, that's where it hits the brakes. But that's typical for this time in the morning. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thank you. A young man with special needs is in the hospital right now. He was shot in the head. He's one of the latest victims of gun violence in Chicago.
Police say the 21-year-old, his brother and dad, were mistakenly targeted by gang members yesterday in the Back of the Yards neighborhood. Mayor Kawash is live at Stroger Hospital with more on the man's condition this morning. Mayor.
Val, Terrell, good morning. At this point, the search still continues for those 3 suspects that police believe are responsible for this. The father of this 21-year-old, though, describes some grave conditions here. He tells us that his son is still heavily sedated, had to undergo surgery to remove some bone fragments from his skull. The father says that the 21-year-old Jesus Riga was shot 3 times, and there's a chance he may lose his vision from this shooting. Rigo was standing right outside his home there near 47th and Walcott yesterday, just waiting for the bus when he was mistakenly targeted by gang members, according to police. He was there, again, waiting for the bus with his brother and father. He's set to graduate from high school this year. The father there was only able to protect his brother at the time as a group of 3 offenders fired nearly 40 shots.
And he just got shot. I put my son on the ground and I ducked down. Before I know it, he got shot and fell to the ground, and I couldn't do nothing about it. And as soon as he fell down, they started running off.
Now, the numbers tell the story here. Chicago police data shows that in 2022, there were 93 shootings and homicides in the New City community area. That does include Back of the Yards. In 2021, it was about the same, but all of that adding up to a 66% increase since 2019, when there were 56 shootings and homicides. So again, police believe they're looking for a group of 3 suspects in this shooting. They're using all the resources they have, surveillance cameras in that area. At this point, no one has been arrested. Val, Terrell.
All right, Mayor, thank you. A man is stabbed and critically hurt outside of a restaurant on Chicago's northwest side. Now, this happened just before 9 last night in the 3200 block of North Pulaski in the Irving Park neighborhood. Police say the victims were arguing with another man who then attacked one of them with a knife. The other 2 men were hurt when they tried to intervene. No one is in custody.
Today, the fate of Indiana's abortion ban is going before the state Supreme Court.
Abortions have been allowed to continue in the state since a county judge blocked the law from being enforced last September.
Jessica D'Onofrio is here now with more on what's going on today, Jess.
Well, Val and Terrell, Indiana became the first state to enact tighter abortion restrictions after the U.S. Supreme Court eliminated federal prosecutions by overturning Roe v. Wade in June. Today, the Indiana Supreme Court will hear arguments regarding the constitutionality of Indiana's near total abortion ban. Last summer, the state legislature passed new laws banning nearly all abortion procedures in Indiana. It would only allow abortions in cases of rape, incest, or if the mother's life is at risk. Planned Parenthood and the ACLU both sued, arguing the law violated the right to privacy. The case eventually made its way to Indiana's Supreme Court. Oral arguments begin today at 8 a.m. The court faces no deadline for releasing a decision and typically takes several weeks or longer before doing so in cases it hears. Val and Terrell.
All righty, Jess, thank you. We're hearing from the Illinois attorney who filed one of the first challenges to the state's new assault weapons ban. After an emergency court hearing yesterday, a downstate judge is expected to rule by tomorrow on whether to issue a temporary restraining order that would keep the new law from taking effect until a trial can be held.
We'll be looking to get a final ruling on these issues as soon as possible, because we believe that the Supreme Court hopefully will finalize and give us the ultimate direction that we need in our state.
A total of 3 lawsuits have already been filed against the new law, including one from the Illinois State Rifle Association.
The state has decided that the things that they've owned for years, that have been legal for years, are suddenly illegal.
Assault weapons are killing literally dozens of people at a time and injuring many, many more. So this is the type of weapon that should be kept off the streets.
Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office argues the law is constitutional and should remain in effect. More legal challenges are expected.
The U.S. is set to hit its debt ceiling today. The current borrowing cap is $31.4 trillion. Now, if lawmakers don't act or raise or suspend that limit, the Treasury Department is warning of catastrophic economic impact down the line. Last week, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned the department would have to take extraordinary measures to try to stay beneath the cap starting today. Republicans in the House have spoken against raising the limit, using it as leverage to force spending cuts. President Biden has said he will oppose any attempt to tie spending cuts to raising the debt ceiling.
This morning, New York Congressman George Santos faces new allegations of additional falsehoods.
But Republican leadership in the House say Santos will remain in their ranks. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins us live from Washington with the latest on this. Jay.
Yeah, good morning. Congressional Republicans saying they don't want to publicly punish Santos, even seating him on 2 committees, all while new allegations come to light.
I wish you guys all
this morning, new questions swirling again around the background of Congressman George Santos. The New York Republican, already accused of defrauding voters, now facing a new round of unearthed claims. On a podcast in 2021, Santos said his mother's death was linked to debris from Ground Zero.
My mom was a 9/11 survivor. She was in the South Tower, and she made it out. She got caught up in the ash cloud. My mom fought cancer till her death.
But immigration documents obtained by Alex Calzera through a Freedom of Information Act request and provided to ABC News suggest Santos's mother wasn't even in the United States on that day.
George Santos has essentially lied about every aspect of his life. He has essentially pretended to be a biracial Ukrainian, Belgian, Brazilian volleyball champion and brain cancer survivor whose mother died twice, including on 9/11.
The freshman congressman also under fire for allegations that he has ties to a Ponzi scheme in Florida, faces charges of check fraud in Brazil, and even allegedly used a different name to set up a GoFundMe to raise $3,000 for a veteran's dying dog, and then never handed over the money.
I took his help. I needed it. I needed that dog to survive.
Santos has denied those allegations, telling reporters he has no clue who this is, and broadly insisting he's done nothing unethical.
I've worked my entire life. I've lived an honest life. I've never been accused, sued of any bad doing.
Republican House leadership not pushing Santos out, now assigning him to 2 low-profile congressional panels, the Small Business Committee and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. Now, there are a growing number of Republicans calling on Santos to resign, but House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has indicated he wants to handle this issue internally and wait for the results of an ethics committee investigation. Terrell?
All righty, Jay O'Brien in Washington. Jay, thank you so much. We've learned the FBI is joining in the search for whoever firebombed a Planned Parenthood clinic in Illinois. This happened Sunday in Peoria. Police have released 2 pictures of the suspect's vehicle, but no arrests have been made.
Today, tenants of the Algonquin apartment complex in Hyde Park will announce a class action lawsuit against their property management company. Two of the buildings lost power last month, displacing hundreds of residents just before Christmas. Tenants returned last week. The lawsuit accuses MAC Property Management of negligent maintenance. The company told us that it worked diligently to provide relocation assistance to all residents who were impacted.
Let's get to sports this morning. A Midwest basketball matchup is going on this afternoon in the City of Lights. The Bulls and Pistons face off in Paris. It's the NBA's Global Games event. It's the Bulls' first time playing in the City of Light since 1997 during the Jordan era. Tip-off is at 2 o'clock this afternoon Central Time.
I literally just got off a FaceTime call with my girlfriend who's there for the game.
What?
Yes.
How did that whole thing happen?
Months ago, they planned it out, and guess who didn't send in her deposit?
So you could have been too?
Yes.
Was it like crazy expensive?
No. I dropped the ball again.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll do it again some other time.
Yeah, maybe next year. All right. Anyway, she says it's fabulous.
I bet.
Your live and local news is just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. Coming up, the I-Team investigates after a local woman was struck by a hit-and-run driver. Now, her auto company is denying coverage. Jason Knowles has a warning for all pedestrians ahead.
First, though, Tracy's got your Accuweather forecast. Rain and cooler temperatures that's on the way.
Good morning to you. We are starting off this day with some fog, some drizzle around the area, but we are poised to get more rain during the afternoon, and it's going to be with us into that evening rush. Tomorrow, cold, cloudy, blustery, and we're looking at some slight snow chances here Saturday night into Sunday morning. The next 10 days, so today we get highs in the 40s. Then here we go. This column, I don't know why it's showing up blue. It should still be gold. But the next several days, we have highs in the 30s. But then beyond that, we are looking maybe ending next week with highs in the 20s. Currently, we're starting off with clouds. As you look at the futurecast, here comes the rain for the afternoon. So we have steady rain this afternoon, this evening. Here we go to 6, 7 o'clock. And it really winds down, but ends as a period of some snow showers. We're probably looking at maybe about the quarter to potentially about 3/10 of an inch of rain coming our way here today. There you see highs today 40s, 30s throughout the rest of the 7-day. Roz?
And we're still looking at 40s, 40 to 45 minute average travel times for your inbound commute. And on the outbound Eisenhower, we've got a big old delay from Cicero to Wolf, where IDOT just relocated a multi-vehicle crash to the shoulder. They've called for state police, so that may increase those delays if they have to block any lanes. But right now, it's pretty solid over there. Now we've got another crash off the expressways. This is in Woodridge at 75th and Green. And a little more information about that fire in the Englewood neighborhood. It is on Marquette. A couple of blocks east of Halstead, a little east of Union there. This is a 2.5-story home, but according to the scanners, we're hearing that the occupants were all able to get out safely, and they're still working in that area, so I would avoid it for the time being. We'll have another check for you coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Val and Terrell.
All right, thank you, Roz. Now to a warning for all pedestrians. One local woman thought her auto insurance would cover her when she was struck by a hit-and-run driver. When that did not happen, she brought her battle to court. Consumer investigator Jason Knowles has the important information you need to know.
Data shows that 40% of all pedestrians struck last year in Chicago were victims of hit-and-run crashes. We talked to one victim who says her court battle is an insurance wake-up call for both walkers and bike riders.
I was frightened and scared because, I didn't even know where I was.
Carmen Galarza thought her life was over when she was struck down by a hit-and-run driver in this Belmont Gardens neighborhood store parking lot in 2018.
We were scared. We thought we were going to lose her. The gentleman who hit her got out of his car, seen her on the ground. He looked at her and he got back in his car and drove off.
Because the driver was never caught, Galarza filed a claim with her own auto insurer, Direct Auto Insurance Company, to pay out under its policy of uninsured motorist coverage.
And then there you are in the hospital, bud.
Months that I couldn't barely walk.
She says her insurance policy coverage of $25,000 would help pay medical bills not covered by medical insurance. She says there was also the loss of a job opportunity and long-term injuries.
I still have pain up and down my leg, all the way up my thigh, and I get a lot of headaches. And not to mention, it's my memory since I had that accident.
The policy in Illinois is that if you own an insurance policy, you get coverage. And so if you're struck in a car by somebody who doesn't have insurance or who doesn't have enough insurance, you could use your policy.
In court, Direct Auto Insurance Company said only customers inside an automobile at the time of a hit and run can file an uninsured motorist claim. Galarza's attorney Howard Ankin argues that policy is not in line with Illinois public policy as established in the Illinois Constitution. He's been fighting the case in 2 different Illinois courts.
The judge agreed with us, and the Illinois Appellate Court seemingly also agreed with us.
Even still, Ankin says his client has not yet received a settlement as the insurance company is trying to appeal with the Illinois Supreme Court. The insurance company's lawyer tells us that it's not appropriate for us to comment until the case is concluded. The case is a reminder for all pedestrians. The ABC7 data team found that throughout 2022 in Chicago, 2,468 pedestrians were struck by cars, an increase of 9% from the year before. At least 40% were hit-and-run crashes.
This is something a lot of people may not think about. As a pedestrian, what do I need to know?
Well, it's important for people to know that this uninsured motorist provision of their policy protects people when they're struck by a car.
If you were hit by a driver who doesn't have insurance or runs off like in Garza's case, you should file a claim with your own insurer. If you don't own a car and don't have auto insurance, you may want to look into buying a non-owner car insurance policy.
And you thought your auto insurance would cover you?
Of course, they should step up to the plate and help me out. But I guess they're not willing to cooperate.
And they don't want to pay.
They don't want to pay.
Galarza's attorney says if the insurance company's court appeal does not go forward, the next step would be an arbitration hearing to determine her possible claim payment. We'll keep following and let you know what the outcome is. Jason Knowles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Jason, thank you. This is a warning for all pedestrians to check on their insurance policies this morning.
Yeah, something to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Yep. Sometimes you don't know till you don't know, and then it's too late. More coming up after the break. Welcome back. Students at the University of Illinois at Chicago are being told to report to class unless they hear directly otherwise. Faculty at the university are expected to hit the picket lines for a third day today. Been a few sticking points during contract negotiations, including base salary.
Chicago Public Schools will hold its first town hall on a proposed near Southside High School. The controversial $150 million plan will allow community members to voice concerns, especially about public housing in that area. The school will be located on a part of land near 23rd and Wabash on 24th and State. And tonight's meeting is virtual and it starts at 6. More will happen each month through June.
All right now we're going to link up with everybody who's watching Good Morning America. Tanya will have a news update on TV. You'll see it right here too.
And then when we come back, a rare Michael Jordan trading card that could be yours if you're willing to pay the big bucks.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning at 7:23. I'm Tanya Babich. Chicago police are looking for a group of people who shot a young man with disabilities while he was waiting for a school bus. Investigators say the victim, 21-year-old Jesus Riga, and his family were mistakenly targeted by gang members. This happened yesterday near 47th and Wolcott in the back of the Yards neighborhood. At last word, Riga was in critical condition. His father and brother were not hurt. Police are going through surveillance video in the area, hoping to find the 3 suspects. Let's get a check of the ABC7 Accuweather forecast now. Here's meteorologist Tracy Butler.
Hi there, Tanya. Good morning to you. Well, you know, we're starting off the day with some drizzle and fog, but I do want you to know, here we go, noon, 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, we start to get more rain coming back into the area. And almost as quickly as it gears up, it kind of winds down. And we end precipitation this evening with just some snow showers. No accumulation. Temperatures right now steady, mid to upper 30s. We'll hit the 40s here again today, but it does get cloudy, blustery, and colder around here tomorrow. Roz is around after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody, to a slow rush hour. We are averaging 50-minute travel times on most expressways between the tri-state and downtown. Now, we have had a couple of crashes. This one on the outbound Ike just past Wolf. Now they've got the left lane blocked, so that's creating delays worth about 38 minutes from the Jane Byrne interchange all the way out to Manheim. IDOT crews just cleared a crash from the outbound Stevenson at LaGrange, took that to the crash investigation site. So the little bit of a delay we had there outbound has already gone. And here's what the Dan Ryan looks like, our White Sox camera. It is slow now from about Pershing. It gets to about 31st, and then we really hit the brakes all the way down to the Jane Byrne interchange. So roads are wet, they're a little slick.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Looking live outside again. So we got the clouds this morning, got some drizzle and some fog out there.
And it was windy last night.
It was windy.
It was.
That rain was heavy too. And we're not done with this yet. I got a little more to talk about a little later on this afternoon. Tracy will get us in on that in a little bit. But first, take a look at this. This Michael Jordan trading card could be yours for the right price. This collector's card was made from a jersey that he wore back at the 1992 All-Star Game. Now there are only 23 such cards in the world. Potential buyers have already placed bids above the $500,000 mark. The auction closes tonight at 7 o'clock, so time to make a bid if you want to get in on this.
Did we say the card was made from his jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
That's impressive. And
Right.
this is 2023.
Yeah, it's the year to do all the Jordan
the
stuff.
year.
I wonder if he's going to sell his house up on the North Shore.
I don't know. That would be some extreme luck because that thing's been sitting
there for a minute.
Yeah, and then you got to wonder why. It's a beautiful house, but it's probably just outdated.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's outdated and
Yep.
it's still very expensive.
And it was also built for him, like his needs, that gym, the living room. It's a bachelor pad.
But you would figure whoever's going to spend $500,000 on this card, right?
Yeah.
Can get tip. Well, no, I didn't. That didn't sound right. Never mind.
But I think I know
I
where
was
you were
going
with
somewhere,
that.
but
Yeah,
my math
but you
was
were
off.
like,
That's why I'm in TV and
yeah.
not teaching math class.
Still to come this morning. We'll check the morning's top stories.
And Chicago mayoral candidates will debate big issues tonight. Here at the station, ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington joins us with what to expect. We're back in 90 seconds. Stay with us.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7. Streaming live now.
Let's get a look at the top stories that we're watching for you now at 7:30. Chicago police are looking for a group of people who shot at a young man with disabilities while he was waiting for a school bus. This happened yesterday near 47th and Walcott in the back of the Yards neighborhood. Investigators say the victim, 22-year-old Jesus Rega, and his family were mistakenly targeted by gang members. Since we've last heard, Rega was in critical condition. His father and brother were not hurt.
And today, the Indiana Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in a case that could determine access to abortions in that state. Last summer, state lawmakers passed new laws banning nearly all abortion procedures in Indiana. Planned Parenthood and the ACLU both sued, arguing the law violated the right to privacy.
U.S. is set to hit its debt ceiling today. The current borrowing cap, $31.4 trillion. Lawmakers would need to either raise or suspend that limit to avoid any economic impact down the line. White House said it's reaching out to lawmakers now to encourage getting a deal done. We shall see.
We shall see. Good morning to you and welcome back. I'm Val Warner.
And good to be with you. Bottom of the hour, I'm Terrell Brown. Let's go outside, see what's going on this morning. So we got the clouds, 39 degrees. Tracy, what are we looking at the rest of the day today?
A lot of clouds, temperatures reaching the 40s, however, so right now we're upper 30s. We're not going that much farther than where we are right now. But this fog is still becoming a little bit concerning, especially out to the far west, northwest suburbs. And that's where we're noticing significantly reduced visibility. The numbers, they're steady. They're not budging just yet, but eventually they will. And the rain chances do increase through the afternoon, too. Roz?
Travel times, they are reaching the 50s. That's the average. Now, the outbound dike, we had that crash near Wolf Road. They're still working on it. So your travel time on the outbound dike is 42 minutes. That's a very high travel time for this time of the morning going in the opposite direction. And we also have a crash in Bensonville. This just happened. It's on Route 83. Just north of Irving Park Road. We could take a look outside one of our tollway cameras. Here's the Tri-State, the mile-long bridge, and look to the bottom of your screen. You can see some of the workers down there right in the center. That's all part of the demolition of the old mile-long bridge. So the rain has stopped enough to let those workers start getting the job done. Val and Terrell.
Got it.
All right, Roz, thank you. Tonight at 8 on ABC7, or ABC7 is hosting all 9 Chicago mayoral candidates for a debate.
ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington is here. Laura, good to see you.
You too.
All right, so what do you think we're going to see tonight?
Well, you're going to see a lot of fireworks. Everyone in this race is going to be wanting to be able to get attention, to be able to get their agenda, their story out there, particularly for the lower level candidates that don't have the money to go up on TV, that don't have money to buy ads. They're going to want to be able to introduce themselves. At the higher level, you're going to have a lot of fistfights. You're going to have people attacking each other because they want to not only showcase their own records, but they want to damage the other candidates.
So in your opinion, how does Mayor Lori Lightfoot need to show up tonight?
Well, she needs to show up to defend her record because her record has been attacked. And she does have a record to run on, but she also needs to appear to be mayoral. She doesn't want to appear to be combative because that's one of the criticisms that you hear over and over again. But that's going to be hard because she's going to be on the defensive. She's going to have several other people who are going to be attacking her on her record, and she's going to have to defend it.
So for those other people like Jesus Chuy Garcia, what's his game plan tonight?
Well, Chuy Garcia is he's in good shape in the sense that he's already a fairly well-known person. He ran for mayor 8 years ago. He's a sitting congressman. So he's going to want to be able to make the case that he's mayoral, that he can do the job. But he's also going to have to defend himself against some of the problems with his record, particularly around the Sam Bankman-Fried cryptocurrency scandal. He got campaign money. His campaign got money from Bankman-Fried, and you could be sure that the mayor is going to attack him on that.
I was just going to say, is that connection going to be damaging?
It's a problem for him because he's a progressive congressman, because he's been very active about regulation of the cryptocurrency industry, and because he got this money. He didn't have any opponents in his congressional campaign last year, so he really didn't need the money, and so it raises all kinds of questions. Why did you get this money, and what was the expectations? And particularly among progressives who are really concerned about regulation and good government, that could damage him, and that's what his opponents want to see happen.
And I don't think Lightfoot's going to be able to slide a whole bunch here either. I mean, she's going to have to defend herself too against some claims tonight.
Well, yeah, especially because she's had a couple recent controversies which are really fresh in voters' minds. The issues with CPS and the email that went out from her campaign recruiting interns, and then more recently the teachers union is after her because they claim that she's reneged on a promise to expand family leave. She says she hasn't, but those are going to be topics I'm sure they're going to come up tonight.
Right. Yeah. So who are her biggest challengers tonight?
Well, if you look at the polls, there's 3 people that are kind of at the top. The mayor, former CPS CEO Paul Vallis, and Chuy Garcia. Some of the polls have Chuy Garcia in the lead. So the mayor's in a position where she's an incumbent, but she may not even be running in first place.
What do you see happening on Election Day, Laura? Do you see this thing going to a runoff?
Oh, absolutely. There's just when you have 9 candidates in a race, there's just too many voters to split up.
Yeah.
The mayor, I think, is going to obviously she's going to want to and have to get into the runoff, but that's not guaranteed.
Oh wow.
That's not guaranteed
So
at all.
there's a chance that she doesn't even get.
Well, you know, her poll numbers are not doing well, and if she's going to have to get off the defensive and hopefully not have any more controversies to deal with, and hopefully have enough money to spend to get her ads up in the air and to get her people out on the street. And right now, she's been challenged even on the fundraising front. She's been raising money, but she's been spending it faster than she's been raising it. So she's going to have to really pick up speed on that.
Is there somebody tonight that you think, forecasting and outlooking, that will surprise us?
Oh, that's a really great question. I think that Chuy Garcia is going to want to appear to be the front runner. He's going to want to be able to make the case that I'm the guy. You know, forget about all these other people. And I think Paul Valliso is going to give him a real run for his money on that. Willie Wilson will have something fun and interesting to say.
Oh, he will.
The successful millionaire businessman. And, you know, he's very popular, particularly because of all the giveaways and things he's done for the community. So he's going to be entertaining for sure.
Yeah. And can't forget about, I think he's so scrappy, Jamal Green.
Jamal Green, who scrappy, he has not raised any money, virtually any money during this campaign.
Wait, really?
And but you hear about him, you know him. He's out on the streets. You see a lot of media coverage about him. He's young. People really admired some of the community work he's done, and he's got a very strong voice. He's still in his 20s, and he's running for mayor for the second time.
Brandon Johnson just got a really big endorsement too.
Yeah, well, he's gotten several endorsements from teachers unions and other progressive unions. He's got a new TV ad coming out today to try to. He's got a challenge because he's got a lot of money, but people have never heard of him. He's a Cook County commissioner, but he is going to be the one that's going to challenge Chuy Garcia for the progressive vote because a lot of support that has gone to Johnson, particularly the money from the unions, is money that Chuy Garcia normally would have gotten.
Exciting.
Okay, yeah.
You better believe it.
I love to watch a good debate. Now, we're talking about today being National Popcorn Day. If you want to forget your reality TV shows, forget your soap operas, forget all of that programming that you normally watch tonight, watch a good debate. Get your popcorn.
And plenty of butter. Don't forget about the butter.
That's right. Got you. Yep, and make sure it's hot too. It's going to be a good one, Laura. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, the debate coming up tonight, ABC7 hosting it, between all the candidates in the race for Chicago mayor. You can watch it live on our digital channel 7.2 and on our streaming platform starting at 7 p.m.
And the 90-minute debate will then re-air here on ABC7 on Sunday night beginning at 10:30 p.m. We're back in 90 seconds.
Good morning to you. It is kind of a damp and hazy morning out there this morning. Now, it is going to get much wetter as we go through the day. So you see rain chances really do increase, especially as we get into the afternoon here. Then they decrease as we get into the evening, but also I think we'll get some snow showers kind of wrapping into the area this evening too. Temperature-wise right now, upper 30s, steady around 40 degrees. This afternoon, our temperatures will reach probably low to mid 40s. This evening, you'll notice it becoming more windy. I think tomorrow is going to be a blustery and raw day around here with those high temperatures tomorrow closer to where they should be this time of the year, which is the lower end of the 30s. As for the weekend, lots of clouds, a blustery and cold day here Saturday, Sunday. So actually Saturday night into Sunday most likely brings us our next chance of some snow with half to a couple of inches possible. Roz?
Well, right now we have a little bit more information about a structure fire on the south side we told you about earlier in Englewood. This was a 2.5-story house fire on Marquette, a couple of blocks east of Halstead. It is out. There were no reports of any injuries there, but we still may have some emergency crews on the scene there, so just be aware. As far as the big picture, we are looking at travel times anywhere from 45 to 55 minutes, so it is crowded on the inbound side. We've got a few tollway delays, the northbound tri-state, heavy pockets through the O'Hare corridor, southbound approaching 55 in that work zone, and we also are looking at some rainy conditions. Here's I-90, the Jane Addams. It is moving well, but we have a little bit more volume here in the area around the Devon Toll Plaza. One suburban crash. This is out in Wheaton. It's on County Farm Road, just north of Manchester, and we are seeing some delays on County Farm Road right now. Val and Terrell.
Okay. Ross, thank you so much. To Gary Sinise this morning, he launched his career right here in Chicago as one of the founding members of the world-acclaimed Steppenwolf Theater. He's also devoted advocacy to military veterans.
And that's why the actor is presenting Last Out at his home theater this weekend. And he tells Jose Sanders about this story of sacrifice and service. Here's his report this morning.
Roadside bomb? How did I miss that? I've been down this road a million times.
Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann wrote and stars in Last Out, Elegy of a Green Beret. He did combat missions in Afghanistan. The cast is all veterans.
What's unique about this story that's something audiences need to know about right now?
You're enlightened to the experience of what our men and women do in service, and it's educational for people to see what our current day warriors are going through post-service.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
Playing Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump isn't what inspired the commitment to veterans. Sinise brought the Vietnam drama Tracers to Steppenwolf in the 80s.
It was a very moving and powerful experience for me. It really solidified kind of, what would become a full-time service mission to support the men and women who serve our country.
The Gary Sinise Foundation sponsors the Last Out Tour. It provides support of every kind for veterans in need.
They will recognize their own stories. It may stir up some emotions, certainly, but it may also open some doors to healing. And we have our teams there ready to give them information about our outreach and our accessibility to mental wellness programs.
Bringing this story to the theater Gary helped create is especially gratifying.
In the beginning, it was just kids wanting to do plays. We loved it, and it grew and grew. There were many times along the way, Jose, when we could have given up. The tenacity and sort of sheer blind will that it takes to make something happen.
What do you want people to know about this piece before they come out?
We want them to know that we appreciate them. We don't forget them. We are grateful for what they did.
Well, thank you for what you're doing for our servicemen and women. We appreciate it.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
All right. Good to talk to you.
You bet, Jose. Take care, bud.
Jose Sanders, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right. Well, you can see Last Out.
The Elegy of a Green Beret.
Yeah, of a Green Beret at Steppenwolf this Friday and Saturday night.
All right, we'll take a quick break back. We're back with more right after this. This is new this morning. Illinois' Starved Rock is the 7th most Instagrammed state park in the country.
Wow.
You've been there.
Yeah,
many times.
Yeah.
Many times. Okay, I
Starved
can't wait
Rock.
to hear your tales about this. This is according to the website Travel Lens. Travel experts analyze Yelp and TripAdvisor, reviews for words such as beautiful, stunning, and breathtaking to reveal the most beautiful state parks in the U.S.
Before I move, I guess we can talk about it now. Niagara Falls is the most Instagrammed state park with more than 3 million posts.
Been there too.
Yeah. For Starved Rock, there's been over 102,000 posts just on Instagram with the hashtag Starved Rock. Okay.
Please tell me we have your Instagrammable pictures to show right now.
Well, okay, I didn't know we were doing this until I have a ton of them at home.
You do?
But I don't have any on my phone. There was one that I found on my phone, which I know we're trying to get that up. But one of the things that is so cool about Starved Rock is that it is beautiful every time of year.
Oh.
Okay. So you think about going for fall colors, which is people make reservations years in advance to do that. And then you think about the summertime and you can do some hiking and they've got the waterfalls. In the wintertime, the waterfall freezes. So you've got like this ice fall.
Like an icicle.
Right.
Yeah. What's the temperature like all these times?
Well,
I mean, that varies, right?
It's the same. I mean, it's the same as just Chicago. It's not that far from Chicago.
Okay.
It's a, hour and a half drive. It's not that far.
Tracy, you been?
Yes, I have. And the thing that I like about it is, in Illinois, we think, everything's so flat you can see for miles.
Yeah.
There's so much variation in the landscape, and that's what's so cool.
That is awesome.
Okay, are you guys camping or you're just kind of driving through? Like, is this a...
Staying in a tent?
Yeah.
Your face.
Okay, because I'm thinking...
hiking,
But you can,
walking through just a day, spending a day is what I've done.
It's an easy day trip.
Yeah.
They have a really cool lodge.
Yes.
I've stayed in the lodge.
Okay, you have stayed in the
before.
lodge.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with this because, maybe I'd like to visit and maybe I want to stay overnight, but I don't want to put up a tent.
No,
Lodge is
Yeah,
nice.
the lodge is
No,
good.
they've got little cabins.
Unless
and
it's
they've got,
glamping.
Glamping is awesome. I've done that too. That's oh yeah.
Glamping?
Oh yeah.
All right, I don't know what
We-
glamping is.
Yeah, tell
What is
Terrell.
glamping?
Glamour,
Like
camping.
Oh, okay, got you.
It's like in a nice, RV, or
Yeah.
big camper. Like when we did.
It's not pitching a
Right.
tent.
Yeah, right?
It's not a tent. You've got a bathroom and you've got a shower and you've got a kitchen. It's like a little house.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kind of camping I like to do.
I think we're all.
Hey, Grandma. Hey, Grandpa.
Well, the spinoff of the popular comedy is debuting. This spinoff is debuting on Netflix. The plot is centered on a new generation of teenagers taking their place in the basement of grandparents, with those characters returning from the original. That 90s show is getting some good reviews from Hollywood.
Looks good too. I like that 70s show, so I'm looking
Do
forward
ya?
to seeing it. Yeah, it's funny. All right, what do you guys want to do? Want to move on? What do you say?
Are we going to talk about that dog?
Oh!
It's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Right there!
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. That was a great tease. Still to stream this morning. A rare return. This dog was returned to an animal shelter 14 different times. Ahead, find out why the pup named Ronald was returned so frequently, but there's a good ending. Stick around.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
There will be no more crying for one hound dog in the Tar Heel state.
Yeah, after a long wait, he's finally found his forever home. Here's ABC's Will Gans.
They say good things come to those who wait. And Ronald's been waiting for a hug like this for a long time. The rescue pup has been returned to his shelter in Raleigh, North Carolina, not once or twice.
People didn't realize how big he was. I mean, he's 70 pounds and he's a year old.
But 14 times.
He just has so much energy, and I mean, he's a puppy. He doesn't know how to control it. So I think people. He jumps really high. Yeah, he can jump really high. I think people are just intimidated by him.
The SPCA of Wake County taking to Facebook with a plea. Help us break Ronald's unlucky streak. 14 adoptions have fallen through for this lovely guy. That post about Ronald shared nearly 60,000 times. Until it reached Kirsten Davis.
We're used to the high energy and the craziness, so.
Kirsten making the 90-minute drive to the shelter to meet with Ronald.
Was running around, galloping, having the best time of his life. So yeah, I brought him home.
Kirsten making sure with staff that he wasn't aggressive around kids. And then agreeing to a 5-day trial run with Ronald.
I took a chance, and sure enough, it's just worked out perfect.
Ronald joining Kirsten, her husband Corey, and their kiddos, Kaysen and Cohen. How has it been so far?
It's been really good. Have you guys had fun with him? Yeah. Yeah, it's been really good. He fits in perfectly.
And I just want to clarify, Kaysen, your broken leg has nothing to do with Ronald, right? That was
Soccer. Soccer was the culprit of this broken leg, not Ronald.
And the Davis family says they're happy Ronald's story might help other dogs find a forever home, too.
It's just all about finding the right home for them and the right people. And I think everyone can find themselves a perfect dog at a shelter somewhere.
Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
Those kids are hilarious.
Right? Well, what do you ladies think? You wanted to see that story.
Oh, I'm so happy. So happy.
Yeah.
I mean, my heart was.
He was just a little unlucky pup.
He was.
Oh
He's
my God.
just a big lap dog. But a lot of those dogs, from Bailey's the same way, right?
Oh, she's so
big, but always.
Yeah, but lovable.
Exactly, in your lap, laying on you.
Snuggle.
Yeah.
Lately, her thing is she'll come tuck me in.
No
but then,
way.
honest to goodness, and then when I'm going to bed at 5:30, and then it's like she's trying to get under the covers with me. She's pawing
Make
at
some
the
room.
sheets and trying to get under.
To get in the covers.
Yes.
I got 2 dogs who tunnel under there.
Do the same
Do
thing.
you let him?
Gosh.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you let him?
No.
I got to bed. No, I don't. I put up the pillow last night to block Kobe from getting in the bed. I did because I took him out right before because it was raining.
Oh, yeah.
And he decided he wasn't going to go in and out. He decided he wanted to play in the rain. So guess what? He was soaking wet and he thought he was going to get in the bed with me. No, bruh. So I put up a bill. He climbs up on his 2 steps. I blocked him. And so he slept downstairs with my husband. Often a family will rename a rescue once he's been adopted, but the Davis fam says Ronald might be too famous now for a new name. So we're glad that he's keeping his name and he has a new family. So.
Yeah. And he looks good, too, and happy, which is awesome and the best. All right, that's going to do it for us in the 7 a.m. show. Tanya Babbage will have a news update. Tracy and Roz getting ready with weather and traffic.
All right, we're going to hear from them in just a moment. But from everyone here at ABC7, have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. At 7:56, I'm Tanya Babbage. In just a few minutes, the Indiana Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in a case that could determine access to abortions in the Hoosier State. Last summer, state lawmakers passed new laws banning nearly all abortion procedures in Indiana. They would be allowed only in cases of rape, incest, or if the mother's life is at risk. Planned Parenthood and the ACLU both sued, arguing the law violated the right to privacy. The ruling is not expected for several months. Stay with us. We'll check on weather and traffic up next.
good morning to you. Starting off with a look at the temperatures, and also we have fog and drizzle around the area right now. Currently, our numbers are just holding steady in the upper 30s and right around 40 degrees. Our rain chances are going to increase through the afternoon. As you can see, temperatures are going to increase just a little bit too. This evening, we'll see the rain wind down, but most likely mix with a few snow showers in the area. Then tomorrow is going to turn out to be colder and blustery. Roz.
Very busy on the expressways. We're looking at 55-minute average travel times, but now we have a bunch of suburban crashes. This one is in the Lamont area at Cass Avenue and Bluff Road. We've got another crash in Hanover Park at Irving and Barrington Road, and then a pretty serious crash in Aurora on Jericho Road at Bertram Road. This one is a multi-vehicle, multi-ambulance response with entrapment reported, so they're going to be busy with that for a while.